Did you know there's a man who went from being called the dumbest and poorest in his village to becoming a millionaire in record time? His life changed completely when he discovered 7 secrets from the Bible that have transformed the finances of thousands. This isn't about luck or inherited wealth. This is about timeless biblical principles with the power to revolutionize any financial situation. It doesn't matter how desperate things may look. If you've ever felt stuck financially, thought you weren't smart enough to become wealthy, or you simply long for rapid financial breakthrough, this message is for you. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly how biblical wisdom can lift you out of deep poverty and lead you into a level of prosperity you never imagined. These aren't just theoretical tips. These are tested biblical secrets that have worked for thousands of years. Stay until the end, because what you'll learn could become the turning point in your financial journey. The Bible holds the most powerful strategies for wealth, and today you'll discover every one of them. Secret number 1, transform your mind according to God's principles of abundance. An abundance mindset is the first step toward any fast financial transformation. Most people stay poor not because of lack of opportunities, but because of destructive mental patterns that keep them trapped in limitation. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." Your mindset determines your financial reality more than any external circumstance. God designed your mind for abundance, not scarcity. When you realize the Creator of the universe wants to bless your finances, everything changes. It's impossible to become a millionaire while holding on to thoughts of poverty and limitation. Notice how successful people think differently. While the poor focus on what they lack, the wealthy see potential where others see problems. This mindset isn't genetic or based on privilege. It's a conscious decision backed by faith. Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, was on the verge of bankruptcy before he created the streaming model we know today. When everyone told him it was impossible to compete with video rental stores, he held on to an abundant mindset and envisioned a different future. His faith in endless possibilities took him from losing everything to building a multi-billion-dollar empire. The Bible teaches that God wants you to prosper in every area of life. 3 John 1:2 says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." This isn't a conditional promise. It's a declaration of God's fatherly heart toward you. He didn't create you for financial mediocrity, but to reflect His abundance on earth. When your mindset aligns with His purpose, financial blessings begin to flow naturally. Prosperity isn't selfish when you understand that God blesses you so you can bless others. Renewing your mind requires action and spiritual discipline. Start each day declaring biblical truths over your financial future instead of repeating past limitations. When your mind whispers, "I'll never have enough," respond, "My God supplies all my needs according to His riches in glory." This mental transformation isn't empty positivity. It's faith rooted in divine promises. Replace time spent on social media consuming scarcity with content that builds faith and abundance. Your mind is the battlefield where financial victory or defeat is decided. The Bible is full of stories of people who changed their destiny by first changing their mindset. Jacob went from deceiver to Israel. David went from shepherd to king. Peter went from impulsive fisherman to early church leader. Every transformation started in the mind before it appeared in reality. Your current financial story doesn't define your future. A renewed mindset does. God is waiting for you to shift your thinking so He can shift your life. Connect your mindset to real stories of breakthrough. Every millionaire who rose from poverty had to first battle limiting beliefs inherited from their environment. The difference between staying poor and becoming wealthy lies in your ability to believe you deserve more, and that God has the power to give it to you. This kind of faith is active, not passive. It's not wishful thinking, it's deep conviction backed by consistent action. When your mindset aligns with biblical principles of abundance, you begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. Activate your faith for immediate mental renewal. Stop identifying as someone bad with money or born to be poor. Those are lies that have limited your financial potential for years. God created you with infinite capacity to generate wealth and bless others through your prosperity. The first biblical secret to becoming a millionaire is to completely renew your mind and align it with the abundance God has prepared for you. When you change your thinking, you change your life. And when you change your life, your financial destiny transforms forever. If you want to go deeper into how to renew your mind through biblical principles, stay tuned until the end, where we'll explore practical tools to solidify this transformation. Secret number 2, mastering the divine principle of sowing to reap abundantly. Strategic sowing is one of the most powerful biblical secrets for generating lasting wealth. Galatians 6:7 reveals a universal law. Do not be deceived, God is not mocked, for whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. This principle works both spiritually and financially, and those who understand it gain an extraordinary advantage on their path to wealth. The difference between the rich and the poor is not how much money they have, it's how and when they sow. While the poor spend everything they receive, the wealthy sow strategically to reap multiplied returns. Your financial transformation begins when you stop being just a consumer and become a wise sower. Strategic sowing requires long-term vision and financial discipline. Instead of spending on the latest phone or temporary pleasures, invest in education, tools, or assets that generate future income. Many crypto investors who became millionaires didn't waste their savings on luxury. They sowed into emerging technologies when no one else believed in them. Without knowing it, they applied this biblical principle. They sowed during times of uncertainty and reaped when abundance showed up. Your ability to sow while others consume will determine your ability to harvest when others are in need. There are different types of sowing that can transform your financial reality. Sowing time, knowledge, money, and relationships. When you sow time studying prosperity principles instead of scrolling through social media, you harvest wisdom that turns into opportunities. When you sow knowledge by sharing what you know, you harvest authority and recognition that open financial doors. When you sow money into smart investments instead of impulsive spending, you reap multiplication of your resources. The parable of the talents in Matthew 25 teaches us that God rewards those who sow their resources to produce more, not those who bury them out of fear. Divine timing is crucial in strategic sowing. Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream of 7 years of abundance followed by 7 of famine, and advised sowing during abundance to reap in scarcity. Successful entrepreneurs apply this principle, investing in growth during good times to be ready when big opportunities come. They sow into relationships even when they don't need them, so they'll have them when they do. Your future prosperity depends on what you sow today, not on what you hope will magically appear tomorrow. Connect sowing to your everyday professional life. If you're an employee, sow excellence in your current job to reap promotions and better opportunities. If you're an entrepreneur, sow value into your customers to harvest loyalty and business growth. Great business owners began by giving more than they received, delivering extraordinary value before asking for extraordinary compensation. Steve Jobs sowed innovation when Apple was bankrupt and reaped one of the greatest tech empires in history. Your sowing today determines your harvest tomorrow. Start applying practical strategies for smart sowing right now. Sow 10% of your income into long-term investments. Sow daily time into financial education. Build authentic relationships with people who share your prosperity vision. Sow generosity toward those with less than you, and gratitude for what you already have. Every seed must be intentional, not random. Millionaires don't sow out of impulse. They sow by strategy, not by emotion, but by faith in divine multiplication. Your financial transformation accelerates when you understand that you are a partner with God in the sowing and reaping process. Apply faith to your sowing, even when you don't see immediate results. Biblical sowing requires patience and trust in God's timing. Some seeds sprout fast, others take seasons, but all will bear fruit when planted correctly. Your sowing mindset sets you apart from those who only chase quick results without being willing to invest first. Strategic sowing is how you become a financial partner with God. This biblical principle has worked for thousands of years, and it will work for you when applied with wisdom and faith. Turn every expense into a conscious seed. Ask yourself, will this investment bring me closer to financial freedom or push me further away? Poor people buy liabilities that drain money. Rich people buy assets that generate it. Your prosperity is measured not by what you spend, but by what you sow. When you shift from a consumer mindset to a sower mindset, your financial destiny changes forever. The power of strategic sowing is your second biblical secret to becoming a millionaire. Now that you understand how to sow with faith and purpose, let's activate this principle together by declaring where you want to see prosperity in your life. When you declare it with faith, you not only sow in the natural, but you activate spiritual forces too. Write in the comments, I believe God will prosper me in your country or city, and complete it with the area you need, business, career, investments, or any dream you carry in your heart. Let's build a chain of faith below. Secret number 3, apply divine wisdom to generate wealth, just like the richest man in history. Solomon's wisdom represents the most powerful biblical secret for business and wealth creation. According to 1 Kings 10:23, King Solomon surpassed all the kings of the earth in riches and wisdom. He didn't become the wealthiest man of his time by luck. He applied divine principles that you can also use to become a millionaire today. His journey from prince to prosperous king began with a key decision. When God offered him anything he desired, Solomon asked for wisdom instead of riches. That countercultural choice shifted his financial destiny forever. His request in 1 Kings 3:9 reveals the mindset that separates the wealthy from the poor. Give your servant an understanding heart to judge your people and discern between good and evil. Solomon understood that wisdom is the most valuable asset because it produces all other assets. While others chase money directly, the wise pursue understanding because true wisdom creates sustainable wealth. Warren Buffett follows this same principle. He thoroughly studies every investment before acting, turning knowledge into fortune. Your prosperity depends more on your wisdom than on luck or connections. The most successful CEOs today prioritize wisdom over speed. They know one wise decision can generate millions, while one impulsive choice can cost fortunes. Solomon built systems so efficient that his kingdom became the commercial hub of the ancient world. His ability to identify opportunities, negotiate deals, and manage resources made him a model of prosperity across generations. When you apply biblical wisdom to your finances, your decisions consistently move you closer to financial freedom rather than away from it through ignorance. Seeking wise counsel is another essential part of Solomon's success. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Millionaires seek mentors who challenge them to grow, while the poor avoid conversations that expose weaknesses or require change. Solomon surrounded himself with wise advisors who helped him make decisions that multiplied his kingdom's wealth. Your network of mentors and peers will greatly influence your financial ceiling. Wisdom is passed down through relationships, not just books. It gives you eyes to see business opportunities others miss. Solomon identified trade routes, products, and markets no one else saw, turning his nation into an international trade hub. Modern entrepreneurs who've built digital empires followed the same principle. They saw opportunity where others saw problems. Mark Cuban, for example, saw the future of video streaming when most people thought it was impossible, applying foresight and wisdom to revolutionize entertainment. Your ability to see what others overlook is developed through wisdom, not shallow information. Apply wise choices in your daily financial life. Research before investing. Plan before spending. Seek counsel before committing. Poor people make financial decisions based on emotions and impulse. Millionaires make them based on wisdom and analysis. When facing an important financial decision, ask yourself, what would Solomon do in this situation? The answer will likely involve deeper research, more prayer, and wise counsel than you initially considered. Wisdom requires humility to admit you don't know it all, and diligence to seek the right answers. Activate your faith to seek divine wisdom in every area of your finances. James 1:5 promises, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him." This is not just a spiritual promise, it's practical. God wants to give you wisdom to prosper in business, investments, and money decisions. The wisdom of Solomon is available to you through prayer, Bible study, and practical application of divine principles. When you pursue wisdom first, wealth becomes a natural result, not a constant struggle. Now I want to ask you something personal. Are you truly struggling financially? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you feel like no matter how hard you try, you can't get ahead? Are you stuck in a cycle of lack that never seems to end? Maybe you're overwhelmed by health, family, or work problems. We understand. Sometimes it feels like no one really gets your situation. But the Word teaches us to pray for one another and carry each other's burdens. That's why I invite you to write your prayer request in the comments, whether it's financial, health-related, family, work, or anything weighing on your heart. You can be sure that God is already moving on your behalf because His Word says the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. You are not alone in this battle. Secret number 4, develop the discipline that turns crises into wealth-building opportunities. Joseph's discipline is one of the most powerful biblical principles for becoming a millionaire through management and strategic planning. He went from slave to prime minister of the most powerful kingdom of his time. Joseph applied discipline in every stage of his life, especially in difficult moments. In Genesis 41, when Pharaoh called on him to interpret dreams, Joseph didn't just give the meaning. He presented a full strategic plan to manage both abundance and famine. His discipline during years of preparation positioned him to prosper when the opportunity arrived. Millionaires understand that discipline during tough times determines success during seasons of abundance. Joseph prepared during hardship instead of wasting time on self-pity. While in prison, he didn't spend years complaining. He developed leadership and management skills he'd later use to govern Egypt's economy. This mindset separates those who become wealthy from those who stay poor. The poor see crises as reasons to quit. The rich see crises as moments to prepare. While others waste hours on social media complaining, you could be developing skills that will make you indispensable when opportunities arrive. Your discipline in hard times shapes your position in seasons of blessing. Influencers who built online empires applied this principle of Joseph. They created content consistently, even when nobody watched, until their audience grew and opportunities came. Discipline is the foundation for lasting success. Gary Vaynerchuk started making wine videos in his family basement when no one understood digital marketing's potential. His daily discipline built the platform that later turned into a massive media empire. Joseph's discipline was no different. He managed Potiphar's resources faithfully, then the prisons, preparing to handle the resources of all Egypt. Joseph's management and planning transformed Egypt into the economic center of the ancient world. During the 7 years of abundance, he saved 20% of all production, creating massive reserves for the famine years. When famine came, Egypt didn't just survive. They prospered, selling grain to surrounding nations. This strategy, saving and investing during good times to capitalize during hard times, is exactly what modern millionaires do. They save during bull markets so they can invest during downturns. Joseph showed extraordinary perseverance through trials, keeping his integrity and vision despite betrayal and injustice. He was sold as a slave by his brothers, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and forgotten in prison for years. But he never lost faith in God's plan. His perseverance wasn't passive, it was active. He kept growing, serving with excellence, and preparing for his destiny. Entrepreneurs today face rejection and failure too, but their discipline keeps them focused on long-term goals instead of giving up because of temporary setbacks. Build authority and leadership through consistent discipline in small things. Joseph became a ruler because he was faithful as a servant. He earned trust in small responsibilities before being entrusted with great ones. In business, CEOs aren't born with authority. They earn it by being disciplined in smaller roles until they prove they can handle greater ones. Your discipline in your current job, no matter how small it seems, is preparing you for future opportunities you can't yet imagine. God watches your faithfulness with little to entrust you with much. Apply Joseph's discipline by setting up systems for saving, investing, and personal development that work regardless of how you feel or what's happening around you. Millionaires don't save money when they feel like it. They save because they have systems that automate wise financial decisions, create working budgets, set up automatic transfers into investment accounts, schedule daily time for financial education. Discipline becomes habit, and habits produce results. Your financial transformation will require the same level of discipline Joseph applied for years before seeing the fruits of his perseverance. If you want to take your financial transformation to the next level, engage with our community here at Messiah Speaks. Share your thoughts, your story, or even your struggles in the comments. This is where committed people go deeper into biblical prosperity with practical tools and mutual support. Together, we're building a movement of purpose-driven believers impacting the world through abundance. Secret number 5, stand out through excellence and integrity, 2 traits that open supernatural doors. Daniel's work ethic shows how these qualities can turn any workplace into a platform for prosperity. Daniel 6:3 says, Daniel distinguished himself above the administrators because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king planned to set him over the entire kingdom. Daniel wasn't promoted by favoritism or politics, but by undeniable excellence. His work was so exceptional that 3 different kings promoted him to top leadership. Millionaires know that excellence isn't optional. It's the foundation for opening doors to wealth and influence. Daniel kept working with excellence, even in hostile environments where his faith was under attack. He served in Babylon, a kingdom that had destroyed his homeland and enslaved his people, yet he never let external circumstances lower the quality of his work. This mindset is crucial for becoming wealthy. Your excellence can't depend on liking your boss, working in ideal conditions, or getting constant praise. Poor people only work well when they feel motivated. Rich people deliver excellence regardless of emotions because they understand excellence attracts opportunities. App developers who became millionaires followed Daniel's principle. They built excellent solutions, not just to make money, but to solve real human problems. Millionaire, co-founder of WhatsApp, immigrated from Ukraine with nothing, but his relentless standards for quality in every project led him to create an app eventually worth $19 billion. His integrity and focus on user experience over quick profits built lasting trust and value. Excellence isn't perfection, it's commitment to delivering superior results. Daniel's integrity opened doors that politics and manipulation never could. When his enemies tried to accuse him, they found no fault in his leadership because he managed all resources with complete honesty. That reputation made Daniel the most trusted person in the kingdom, positioning him for greater responsibilities and rewards. In business, integrity is the most valuable asset. It builds trust, and trust creates opportunity. Clients prefer to work with people they trust, even if it costs more. Stand out in today's marketplace by applying Daniel's principles. Don't just do the minimum. Deliver more than expected. Show up early. Stay until the job is done. Offer solutions, not complaints. Excellent employees become indispensable, and indispensable people get promoted, earn more, and access better opportunities. Your current excellence is paving the way for future prosperity. Daniel had no idea that his outstanding work as a civil servant would one day make him prime minister. But God uses faithfulness in small things to prepare us for greater ones. Activate your faith to pursue excellence in every part of your professional life. Excellence isn't a one-time act. It's a lifestyle that demands daily decisions to give your best, no matter the circumstances. Daniel prayed 3 times a day for divine wisdom to fulfill his responsibilities, combining faith with practical action. When you seek excellence as a way to honor God and serve others, your work becomes worship, and your worship becomes prosperity. Millionaires understand that excellence attracts supernatural blessings no human strategy can replicate. Your commitment to excellence and integrity is your 5th biblical secret to becoming a millionaire. Leave a comment with a declaration of faith like, "I trust that God is guiding my financial path," and share this video so more people can discover these life-changing secrets. Secret number 6. Activate the divine principle of giving to receive multiplied. The kind of generosity that multiplies is one of the most counterintuitive but powerful biblical secrets for wealth. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the same measure you use, it will be measured to you." This principle challenges human logic. It teaches that the road to wealth begins with giving, not hoarding. Poor people believe they must hold on to everything to avoid scarcity. But millionaires understand that strategic generosity builds powerful networks and unlocks unlimited opportunities. When you give from a genuine heart and with wisdom, you activate spiritual laws that multiply your resources in supernatural ways. Generosity creates networks far more powerful than traditional networking strategies. When you help others reach their goals without expecting anything in return, you build authentic relationships rooted in trust and gratitude. These relationships become channels for opportunities, referrals, partnerships, and investments. Successful entrepreneurs know their network is their most valuable asset, and generosity is the fastest way to build it. Your willingness to give determines your ability to receive extraordinary opportunities. Look at entrepreneurs who became wealthy by helping others. Tony Robbins built his fortune by helping millions transform their lives through personal growth programs. His generosity in sharing knowledge and strategies made him a multi-millionaire while positively impacting lives around the world. Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, became wealthy by creating a platform that helps professionals connect and grow. His generosity in enabling free professional networking built a billion-dollar empire. When your generosity solves real problems, it becomes a sustainable business model. Let's connect this principle to a true story, not from Latin America, but from a small village in South Africa. Joshua was often mocked for struggling in school and came from extreme poverty, but he had a generous heart. He shared his food with hungry kids, helped elders with chores, and gave away his few coins to families in crisis. That natural generosity built a community that loved and trusted him, connections that later turned into extraordinary business opportunities. Explore different forms of generosity beyond money: time, knowledge, skills, relationships, and resources. You can be generous by mentoring aspiring entrepreneurs, connecting people who could benefit from each other, or volunteering for causes you care about. Millionaires know generosity doesn't require wealth, it requires an abundant mindset. Mark Cuban started by being generous with his time and expertise long before he had money to give. That mindset helped him build the relationships that opened doors to massive business growth. Generosity builds moral authority and credibility, which lead to business opportunities others can't access. When you're known for helping others, people want to do business with you because they trust your character. That reputation becomes a competitive advantage. Customers prefer brands that give back. For example, a major outdoor gear company built a global empire by being generous with the environment, donating profits, creating sustainable products, and reflecting its values in every action. Start applying practical strategies for smart generosity right away. Give 10% of your income as a biblical tithe, not just as spiritual obedience, but as a financial investment in sowing and reaping. Donate time to organizations that align with your values and career goals. Connect people in your network who can help each other. Share what you know through content or public speaking. Every act of generosity plants a seed that will produce future opportunities and blessings. Your strategic generosity is your sixth biblical secret to becoming a millionaire. Secret number 7. Combine authentic faith with intelligent action to unlock financial breakthrough. The kind of faith that moves financial mountains is the most powerful biblical secret of all. James 2:17 says, "Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." Real faith isn't passive positivity or blind hope. It's deep conviction backed by consistent action and bold decisions. Millionaires understand that faith without action is fantasy, but action without faith is limited by fear and doubt. When you combine genuine faith with practical wisdom, you activate supernatural forces that can transform your finances faster than you imagined. True faith requires movement directed by God, not inactivity disguised as spirituality. Many confuse faith with laziness, waiting for miracles without taking steps. But biblical faith always involves obedience and specific action. Noah had faith, but he built the ark. Abraham had faith, but he left his land. David had faith, but he practiced with his sling. Your faith for prosperity must show through financial education, diligent work, smart investments, and wise choices. God multiplies what you put into action, not what you leave in theory. Successful entrepreneurs live this principle by taking bold, calculated leaps of faith, backed by research and preparation. Many content creators left stable jobs to build digital businesses, not impulsively, but after gaining skills, building audiences, and testing ideas. Michelle Obama left her high-paying corporate job to support her husband's political career, but she did so with faith, grounded in conviction and strategic preparation. Authentic faith evaluates risks wisely, but doesn't let fear paralyze decisions. Now, let's return to the story of Joshua from South Africa. After years of generosity and authentic relationships, Joshua saw an opportunity to export handmade goods to Europe. Everyone said it was impossible. He had no formal education, capital, or international connections. But Joshua believed that God would honor his heart and hard work. He invested his small savings in a modest shipment, learned basic English, and began selling in local markets. His faith, combined with persistent action, turned that first shipment into a thriving business empire that made him a millionaire, proving that God can use anyone who combines faith with obedience. Faith overcomes the fear of failure that paralyzes millions with millionaire potential. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" But faith responds, "What if you succeed?" The poor make decisions based on worst-case scenarios. The rich make decisions based on best-case possibilities. Faith doesn't erase risk, but it changes how you see it. When you know God is with you, you can take bold, strategic risks others fear. Faith gives you courage to act when others hesitate and to persist when others quit. Use both faith and wisdom to make key decisions. Before you invest, pray for direction. Do your research. Ask wise mentors. Weigh the pros and cons with clarity. True faith isn't reckless, it's thoughtful. Not blind, but informed. God speaks through His word, wise counsel, open doors, and inner peace. When these align, move forward in confidence, knowing you're walking in faith, not presumption. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season." Timing is essential in business, investments, and career moves. Faith helps you discern when to act and when to wait. Some doors require urgent action, others require patient preparation. Your connection to God gives you the wisdom to know the difference. Faith must also be responsible. It pays debts, honors commitments, plans for the future, and considers how decisions impact others. Irresponsibility disguised as faith makes promises it can't keep and ignores present obligations. Real faith builds on solid foundations. It multiplies resources to bless not just you, but everyone around you. Activate your faith and take that step you've delayed out of fear. Maybe it's launching that business, making that investment, applying for that promotion, or building a new skill. When faith and smart action come together, blessings that have been waiting on your obedience begin to unfold. These 7 biblical secrets work together as a complete prosperity system that can transform your financial life. Your genuine faith, backed by wise action, is your 7th and most powerful secret to becoming a millionaire. These biblical principles have changed countless lives, and they can change yours. From abundance mindset to faith that moves financial mountains, you already have what you need to rise out of poverty and build lasting wealth. Remember, Solomon's wisdom, Joseph's discipline, Daniel's excellence, the law of sowing, and the power of generosity still work today.